aren't you arguing against the masses who have confirmed that the price point is okay? If the masses are paying for it, they dictate that that's fine. Like they.
What have you done?
You unlock this door with a simple registration. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of memes. A dimension of trolls. A dimension of morons. You are moving into a dimension of both factual and unfactual information, of rumours and hopes. You just crossed over into YouTube Fanboy Zone. Oh yes, this is one of the best games I've ever played. I'm not sure, well, wouldn't this have got nominated for Game of the Year or even Indie of the Year? I just don't understand. Oh, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So this video is not about my friend Gaz, because he's an English gent, so I will not downplay his opinion at all, because he's brilliant. No, seriously, yeah, this video isn't about Gaz actually. It's about the other fella he has on his podcast. I just wanted to highlight though to Gaz, if you're watching, of course you're watching. Of course you're watching me. You love me. You want a piece of this? Yeah, of course you're watching. I just want to highlight sort of some of the statements you did make during this podcast. Firstly, about if the masses want it and sort of are willing to pay it. Well, the actual stats that come out recently in the UK for Black Friday show that Nintendo Switch sold 42% of consoles, Xbox Series X and X sold 40%, which they've, funny enough, left out PlayStation 5, if you noticed, but it's quick math for you. 18% of consoles sold for PlayStation 5, OTA 18%. So 40% bought the Xbox, 42% bought the Nintendo, 18% bought the PlayStation 5 in the UK during Black Friday. Now, if that doesn't scream that people don't want to pay more for less, I don't know what does really. So, you know, because UK obviously was one of those countries that were affected by the price hike. So, in your sort of question about people are willing to pay, are they? Because as shown in several stats now, that the sales of the PlayStation 5 are decreasing. Also, in addition, you guys sort of hinted off right at the beginning of the podcast that it sold, God of War sold 5 million copies, so people are willing to pay $70 for the game. Except that, what percentage of those 5 million were PlayStation 4, the £60 versions, the PlayStation 4 versions? Because Sony doesn't seem to disclose that amount. They don't seem to tell or share what percentage of PS4 sold and what percentage of PS5 sold. So, oddly enough, so they just give the illusion that everyone's buying the $70 version. I can probably, these stats will probably come out, and I can probably guarantee that the majority of people bought it on the PS4, especially as that's where the higher market range is on the PlayStation 4. I mean, it has 120 million consoles versus 25 million consoles. So I reckon a higher percentage, if not even equal, is on the PlayStation 4, which shows that people aren't willing really to pay the $70 for God of War. Indeed, that was during Black Friday. PlayStation 5 God of War bundles don't seem to be selling like hotcakes. People are going to go, oh, but they're just the boxes, it's got nothing in them. What, you think they're just going to stack a bunch of boxes and not have the the actual hardware at back? You think if someone walks in, I'd like to buy a PlayStation 5 please. Oh, we don't sell PlayStation 5s, but you've got 50, 60 boxes there. Yeah, we just like to stack boxes.
You out of your motherfucking mind, man.
Also, during the podcast, it's touched on that Xbox will possibly do it next year. Yes, they very likely will do it next year, and there's a good reason for that, as I've done in pointed out several of my videos. That's what inflation is. What happens, how inflation works, is when sort of the market leaders dictate the prices of everything because they can. So they will increase their price, and then everyone underneath them has to raise their price to compete, because they can't keep their prices low, otherwise they're never going to compete with the higher, more popular brands, are they? So they have to raise their prices up to keep level, and that's how inflation works. Inflation, as I've said in my videos before, you can Google all of this. Inflation works when the lead companies raise their prices and the consumers accept the price and buy the product. That's how inflation works, because then they create the market and then everyone else bumps up their prices to keep with the market value, and that is inflation. So that's why you got the market leaders, Activision at the time, or still now I guess, with COD, Activision, EA and Sony were the first ones to bump up their prices, because they are, if you look at the market share and stuff with gaming, that they are the market leaders, mate. They basically decide the price of games and control and sort of had the most dominant gaming markets. So they literally created the inflation in gaming by bumping up their prices, because now everyone has to raise their prices to keep up. So yes, inevitably Xbox will this be a fault of Xbox? No, because they can't afford to keep their prices low while everyone else is, if you say, paying 70 for games or willing to pay 70. They have to raise their prices, and then that'll go up. But then what we'll see in the future, which is what the concern is about this, which I think is Alex trying to touch on, is then where does it end? Once everyone's 70, that becomes the norm. Then Sony, who wanted to do this originally in 2020, will bump their price up to 80. Along with, we'll put Activision won't, because they'll be under Xbox now, but EA will probably, and who's the ones that do GTA, they'll probably bump their games up to 80, and then everyone will raise up to them, and that's how inflation works. But I digress. The actual point of this video is about what happens next.
It's not, you called it a scam. You said people were getting scammed.
It's 100% a scam, yes.
How can it be a scam?
I'm sorry. You're paying.
How's the price point a scam?
You're paying more money for a product that was literally sold for $60 on the PS4, $70 on the PS5, and because it has a PS5 logo, it's not. It's $70 now.
A scam, but a scam would include some type of misdirection or misinformation. They're not telling you. They're not telling you, hey, because the game is $10 more, it's better, or you're getting more. They're not telling you.
Why charge me $10 more?
But that doesn't make it a scam.
No, I don't always agree with Alex, and for the most part, he can eat my moist, wet bottom. In fact, for the most part, I do sort of agree with a lot of the stuff he does say. Probably about 80% of it, because he does sort of more or less talk a lot of sense. He is wrong occasionally, but then we're all wrong occasionally, including myself. I know, sorry, don't please unsub. But in this instance, he is correct, and as old Ben would say.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
But just to dive into what E.G.G said, misdirection and misinformation. Sony has clearly advertised PlayStation 5 as being the better, more powerful console, as everything being on it being better than PlayStation 4. They've tried to sell you the PlayStation 5 because it's better than the PlayStation 4. That is their pitch. They want you to buy a PlayStation 5, not the PlayStation 4. They want you to buy the version on the PlayStation because it's more expensive than the PlayStation 4, because they give the impression that it's going to be better, though it's not. Do we need more evidence? Okay. Exhibit A, a picture of the box, the PlayStation 5 box. Can you see it? No? Want me to go in closer? Feast your eyes. There we have it. 8K, 4K 120 HDR. Is that misinformation and misdirection? They're giving the impression that their games are running, well, at minimum 4K 120, maximum 8K. I'd love to see this list of games that are running this. That's what I have on the box when you buy the PlayStation 5. So the moment you touch that box and you see that on there, surely you're giving the impression that this console is running 8K games, or a minimum spec of 4K 120, aren't you not? Is that misdirection and misinformation? Let's move on. Exhibit B. Sony's actually trying to make it hard for their gamers to buy the PlayStation 4 version, instead pushing them to buy the PlayStation 5 version on their store. So they are effectively scamming you. They are forcing you to buy the more expensive version, making it hard to play the cheaper version, which players wanted to do. They wanted to get the cheaper version, and Sony's like just making it as hard as possible for them to play the cheaper version, pushing you towards the more expensive version, which is exactly the same as the cheaper version, as you've established and as everyone has established. It's a scam. In fact, Forbes was onto this whole scam a while back, investigating sort of the way they're doing shit, because it's very suspect and very dodgy, and they're very sort of evasive about things and do things very weirdly to avoid things, and tried basically just to push people to pay more for the exact same game.
And then they're charging for you to upgrade now, when they said they wouldn't. They literally said they wouldn't do it, and now they're doing it. That's misinformation, which you said they're not doing. They're charging for upgrades, and they're trying to encourage and push players to buy the more expensive version. They don't want you buying the cheaper version, even though it's the exact same game. Let's move on, because it gets so much better.
There has to be. I have to be lying to you in some type of. I have to lie to you. I have to tell you a lie. Like, look,
Yes.
if I try to sell you a product and I'll be like, listen, last week it was $60, but this week is $70. If I'm telling you it's still the same product, that's not a scam. I
But
told
then
you.
daylight
last week it was-
robbery,
Wait,
though.
wait. Last week it was 60, right?
Yeah,
So this week it's 70.
yeah. That's not
Why
a
is it
scam.
7? No, but why is it 70 this week?
If I don't tell you, it's not a scam, though. If I lie to you,
just
it's a
because
scam.
you don't tell me it's not a scam doesn't mean it's not a scam.
It's not a scam if I don't tell you.
It's not a scam if I don't tell you. What kind of a scammer tells the person he's being scammed? Imagine you walk up to someone and they're scamming you, and you go, "Hello, is this a scam?" They go, "Yeah, it's a scam." "Oh, it's a scam then." "Yeah, because if I didn't tell you, then it's not a scam." "Oh, okay." What kind of logic is that? What kind of logic? What kind of sense is that if the person doesn't tell you they're scamming you, then it's not a scam? What kind of absolute... No one tells people they're scamming them. No one tells that. No one announces, "Hey, everyone, come over here, buy shit from me. I'm scamming." No one does that. Fucking, what the fuck is this logic? What the fuck is this nonsense? This is absolute bullshit. The guy's caught in a corner, and now he's just throwing out, just coming up with any old shit, just to avoid the fact that it's a scam, and he's got no real argument to justify the £70 price.
Look, okay, so here's my argument about this whole thing. If the PS4 version of God of War Ragnarok is $60, why is the PS5 version $70? What's the difference?
I mean,
Do I have to pay an upgrade fee for every game I get on PC because I upgrade the graphics card?
Aside from a few visual details, that's the only difference.
Thank you. So then I'm paying $10 for literally nothing more. Therefore, it's a scam.
Evidently, people don't care. That's the thing.
I'm not.
The old dismissive people don't care for the argument. That's what people do when usually they've lost a point, so they say, "Oh, well, I don't care." It's brilliant. Yes, it's very dismissive. Let's put it in another context, shall we? That whole point of people don't care. There's people don't care about, I don't know, murder, rape, even slavery. There's people don't care. You know, there's people that don't care about those things, so they're okay. I'll tell you what, murder. As long as you don't tell the person you're going to murder them, it's okay. It's not murder because you don't tell them. Is that how it works in your land, in your world? It's weird because these people also against things like Game Pass. They think it's sort of, I don't know, bad for consumers and robbing them. But they're quite openly to admit this is okay. This kind of thing's okay. Because there's people that don't care about it. In fact, the only people I see that don't care are shills. Are corporates, slaves. People like yourself. People like the PlayStation hardcore fan base that will just cap for this and pay whatever Sony tells them to do. Because they're shilling for a company. These are the only people that don't care. But there's the majority of people do care. I'll tell you how I know the majority of people don't care. Because the majority of people don't buy these games. That's why. I mean, let's give God of War an example that's been said in here. It sold 5 million copies across 2 platforms. That's 2 generations of console. That's 120 PlayStation 4s. That's 25 million PS5s. So that's 145 million consoles. It sold 5 million. Now that 5 million is probably broken up by half of it. Let's just go half and half. PS4, PS5. So half of those 5 million did care. So only half of those didn't care. So it's only 2.5 million out of 145 million didn't care. And we won't even go into the bundles. We can't even, because we don't know the exact stats, because Sony don't announce the exact stats. We can't really break it down if people cared or not. But by face value, people did care because the majority of people didn't buy it. 145 million had the opportunity to buy this game. 5 million bought it, and we know didn't all just buy the PS5 version. Well, down on that fact, people like yourself and Woolly Gamer and many of the elite shills say that they just won't buy the £70 version. They will buy it when it goes on sale, which is what a lot of your argument is. If you don't want it, buy it when it goes on sale. So then clearly that you're all admitting that people do care. People don't want to pay the 70 price tag. You will wait for it to go on sale to buy it, and if you're thinking it doesn't get stupider, we'll keep watching.
I'm not saying people should. I'm not saying people don't care. What I'm saying is it is an outright scam that people are in fact falling for.
The scam is a strong word, though.
If you want to say robbery, I might agree with robbery more than scam.
I guess we're not gonna find anything.
How are we gonna get out of here?
We'll dig our way out.
Like daylight
Why
robbery.
did you say robbery more than scam?
Robbery and scam are two different
What?
crimes. Robbery and scam are two different crimes.
Oh my! Yes, robbery is far worse.
But it's not a scam, though.
What? Oh, come
Wait, BG, you lost me there. Wait.
Robbery, because look, if you wanna be upfront and be like what PlayStation is doing, PlayStation is being very direct and blunt force in saying this is what it is. Either you buy it or you don't.
It's still a scam.
Scamming would be lying to somebody and be like, listen, I'm gonna up the price, but I'm giving you something better. They're not telling you that. They're
So
not
if they demand a price under duress, they've got a gun pointed to you. It's not a scam.
It is.
But you better pay that
But
money.
it's robbery.
But the thing is, but at the end of the day, it's still up to people if they want to be robbed. People are choosing to be robbed.
We can go back to Horizon Forbidden West when it was $60. They bumped it to $70. There was an outcry, went back to $60 for the upgrade.
Are people?
So then where is the line?
Are they choosing
That
to
is
be
an
robbed or
actual
not?
scam.
Are they choosing?
That metric prove that $70 games are a scam.
Are they choosing this or not though? This is free will. This is the market. This is capitalism.
The argument is not whether it's a free market. The argument is not whether people will pay for it. The argument is it a scam?
You know, I had clips to show the definitions of scam and robbery, but it doesn't seem to be a point. Firstly, because what Sony's doing covers both robbery and scam under the definition, but also there just doesn't seem to be a point, because the man is clearly a victim and deluded. He's trying to justify it not being a scam by being robbed. He's actually openly admitting to being robbed by Sony, and that's in some way okay. It's okay to be robbed, as long as you sort of accept being robbed. It's okay to be robbed. This is just a weird, just a thing to watch. This you can sort of see how their fan base now think that they are willing to do and have anything done to them. They are willing to be victims to Sony for the sake of console wars. They are quite happily and open to being robbed and just having crimes pushed upon them for the sake of console war, just so they can say, yeah, Sony leads, Sony's the best. It's really weird and deluded, and I think mentally, on a mental state, these people should probably need help in some way or another, because if Xbox ever did take the market lead and start winning in the console war, wherever that means, I'm concerned about the damage, the long-term damage it would have on these people. I mean, in all honesty, who would agree and be happy with this statement? Who would be happy to say, yes, we're being robbed, and I'm fine with that, that's all good? Who would cap for what he's saying? Who would cap for this? Woolly Gamer, come on down, the price is right. All wrong, however you look at it. Yeah, Woolly Gamer, of course, this shill. Welcome to the channel, by the way, Woolly Gamer. I'm glad you've made it. Your time was numbered. Yes, this guy would, of course, shill and cap for BG's statements. Of course, why wouldn't he? It's weird that he does. This is what I find weird about their fan base, that they cap for £70 games, they cap for paying more to Sony, to give more to corporations, yet cry their eyes out on social media when other corporations doing it, because apparently they have no money. So in this instance, he has no money and no money left because he's got a below paid job, yada yada yada, but then caps for paying more for games and paying more for hardware and just giving money to Sony when he doesn't need to. He's fine with that, but he's not fine with paying extra money to other corporations because he's not brand loyal to those things, which is another statement. Brand loyal, when they say they're brand loyal. Why are you loyal to any kind of brand? Why are you loyal to these corporations? What does that even mean?
So he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Cheadle, the man is an idiot. In fact, anyone's an idiot that are brand loyal and or even open to being robbed and openly admit that they're happy to be robbed. Anyone that admits that they're happy being a victim is an idiot, basically. So I think I'll end the video there. Hopefully you've all learned a lesson, and it's opened your mind once again to how low the PlayStation fan base are willing to go for Sony. Yeah, I think I'll end the video here because the blip 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 noise in the background is getting quite irritating, I understand. But it's Vampire Survivors Everyone, the game that's hated on by the PlayStation fan base because it's not on PlayStation, of course. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please sub, share and like and subscribe and everything else that comes with it. Put in the comments below your opinion on it. Are you happy to be robbed? I'd love to hear if you're happy to be, if you like being robbed. I'd love to hear from anyone that likes being robbed. It's just a weird concept. I can't get my head around it, so I'd like you to explain it to me. But please put in the comments down below your thoughts, and thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.